Hi, this is Michael Paul, New Orleans Scottish Rite College. Wanted to do a short video today on something that I've noticed in several places in print media and on websites having to do with the Southern jurisdiction. And it's something that I would not say that is in itself an error, but it's something that I believe could be misleading and potentially misunderstood if not properly explained. And it's an aspect that, if misunderstood, could lead to a misconception about the Scottish Rite itself. Now, human beings are interesting creatures, and oftentimes when we're in a group, be it family or close friends, we'll sometimes talk in a way that is more or less a coded language, and we'll say things in an abbreviated manner, and we understand what we're talking about, but others on the outside may have no idea what we mean. And I'll give you an example. The other day, my wife came into the house and I was working on something, and she had the keys in her hand. And she says, "I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to the store." Well, I knew exactly what she meant. She meant she was going to the grocery store. It's around the corner from us, so I knew where she was going and where she would be. And she left. If this had been somebody coming in, or if some friends were in the house with us at the time, then her saying, "I'm going to the store," might have meant very little to them. What store do you mean? Do you mean the grocery store, the hardware store, the drug store? Which one? There's a number of them all around. When we speak in this type of coded shortcut language, it's usually for the benefit of those closely associated with us. And those on the outside who hear something like this may or may not have any idea of what we're actually talking about. Now, what I've seen in several of these websites and online media has to do with the Southern jurisdiction, and it has to use with a certain phrase that they've been using, and that phrase is the four bodies of the Scottish Rite. Now, what they're talking about is the four bodies that confer the degrees from the 4th degree to the 32nd degree in a local valley or a consistory. And these bodies would be a Lodge of Perfection, Chapter Rose Croix, Council of Kadash, and the consistory. We understand that, and most every Mason or Scottish Rite Mason who hears that will understand it, with the exception of if they're brand new or if they're not a Scottish Rite Mason. And even when we are Scottish Rite Masons, the potential is there for a misunderstanding about the actual nature of the Scottish Rite by using this particular phrase. And what I mean by this is the Scottish Rite can be either an organization or it can be the ritual. And when we talk about the ritual of the Scottish Rite, well, that's a 33-degree system. There's 33 degrees in the Scottish Rite. And to say that there are only 4 bodies in the Scottish Rite is incorrect. Scottish Rite Masonry has craft degrees. The Southern jurisdiction does not work in the Scottish Rite craft degrees, but that does not mean they do not exist. Under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of Louisiana, there are 10 lodges that work in the Scottish Rite craft degrees. And these are as much a part of the Scottish Rite, meaning the complete system, as any organization or any body of the Scottish Rite. We also have to think about the other end of the spectrum. The Supreme Council is a body of the Scottish Rite. It controls the 33rd degree. Now, a local valley confers the degrees from the 4th to the 32nd. That's 29 degrees. To say that there are only 29 degrees of the Scottish Rite, which I have also heard from time to time, is not only incorrect, but it's logically problematic. How can someone say that they are a 32nd or a 33rd in a system which they claim is only 29 degrees? We have a problem here. Now, when we're in a group of Scottish Rite Masons in a consistory meeting or a valley setting, or just simply a group of Scottish Rite Masons, and we talk about the 4 bodies of the Scottish Rite, we may very well understand exactly what we mean, and we very well may understand that this is only a coded language, and we understand that there are craft lodges of the Scottish Rite, and the Supreme Council is also a body of the Scottish Rite. But when we use this language, we have to be aware that if there's a young Scottish Rite Mason or someone who's not in the Scottish Rite, it's always best for us to completely explain what we mean so that we don't have communication problems. And when we have communication problems with those who are less informed than us, it can create down the line a change in actual perceived nature of the Scottish Rite. People may actually believe that there are only 29 degrees in this 33-degree system, or they may believe all kinds of things about the Scottish Rite if they are so informed and not given the proper information. The goal, I believe, that we always need to keep in mind is that we are an educational system, and when we communicate any aspect of the Scottish Rite, we need to make sure that those who hear us understand what we mean. The Scottish Rite is a 33-degree system. It works from the first degree to the 33rd degree. Not all degrees are worked by all bodies. The craft degrees are worked in a craft lodge setting. A valley controls the degrees from the 4th to the 32nd. The Supreme Council controls the degrees of the 33rd degree. Each of these bodies is distinct and independent, as are the 4 bodies in a valley. Each one of these bodies are also distinct. Each body controls the degrees that it is entitled to control. You wouldn't have a Supreme Council confer craft degrees. You wouldn't have a craft lodge confer the 33rd degree. You wouldn't have a valley confer the 33rd degree or the craft degrees. Each body of the Scottish Rite confers the degrees that it should confer and is entitled to confer. And jurisdictions aside, we have to keep an organization separate from the ritual itself. And once we do this, I think we're on a good path to understanding the complete system of the Scottish Rite. I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, please let us know. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you next time.